we all know that the job is far from finished. People with disabilities, people who are hearing impaired, still suffer massive discrimination, segregation, and deprivation, which results in unconscionable injustice to millions of individuals and unconscionable moral and economic costs to the nation. More than a day of celebration, today must be a day of dedication to the fulfillment of the very important responsibilities which you have fought so hard and so long to exercise. What are those responsibilities? To replicate Harvard? Harvard is magnificent, but I believe that Gallaudet University has a different destiny. Our revolutionary forefathers did not replicate Paris or London, but combined the best of the old and of the possible to create a new kind of society that has dramatically changed the entire course of human history for the good. Now we, in our turn, have a rare opportunity and a profound responsibility to enlarge the priceless heritage of democracy which their hard sacrifices have created for us. The task before us at Gallaudet is to establish a community of excellence capable of producing the individuals with the values, the knowledge, the will, and the self-discipline necessary to lead our culture through a promising but turbulent and confused adolescence of pre-science understandings and into an age of mature science dedicated with clear focus to the preservation and the quality of human life. I submit for your consideration an outline agenda for action by Gallaudet and its supporters. First, we who have significant disabilities will never fully achieve any of our goals until we eliminate the insidious traditional assumptions that people with disabilities are less than fully human, and that quality of life can be handed down to us through paternalistic systems. Gallaudet must educate individuals who can establish certain self-evident truths in the consciousness, the law, and the life of the nation. That disability is a normal characteristic of the human process, and that people with disabilities have the same inalienable right and the same inalienable responsibility as other people to participate fully and equally in the decisions of government and in the productive mainstream of society. We of the disability community must unite to demand the passage and the vigorous enforcement of the Americans with Disabilities Act and of a broad spectrum of other legislation to provide for the services and support systems which will be necessary to implement our rights in everyday life. Second, Gallaudet must educate individuals who can overcome the residue of primitive passions for magical assumptions and for symbols of pride, power, and prestige that impede our progress, and who can advocate and implement the concepts which are the indispensable foundation for an age of rational science. That the fundamental and the only legitimate purpose of human society is to create the attitudes, environments, and services necessary to enable each of its members to fulfill their potential for quality of life. That society is no magical cornucopia of truth and solutions, but simply the sum total of what we as individuals do and think every day. That each of us, therefore, is inescapably responsible to be chief executive and scientist of his or her own life, to make final decisions and to take actions that will be maximally productive of the preservation and the quality of life in the indivisible continuum formed by individual, society, and universe. Third, Gallaudet must educate individuals capable of inspiring the nation to use the awesome power of the scientific method to create whole new environments, systems, and communities designed to fully utilize our rapidly developing technology and our vast human and material resources for the benefit of each and of all. Foundational to this process will be the establishment of an integrated computer, television, telephone network connecting every residential, service, commercial, government, and other facility in the nation on a 24-hour, 365-day-a-year basis. A system of this nature, properly utilized, would implement virtually universal participation in the educational, creative, and productive mainstream of culture. This is indeed a revolutionary agenda. We will immediately be told that it is impossibly utopian and unaffordably expensive. Impossible? Only if we accept the self-fulfilling hypothesis that humans are irrevocably irrational. Unaffordable? On the contrary, it is the status quo that is unaffordable. Attempts to avoid the hard challenge of change through disproportionate expenditures for unproductive dependency and escapist self-indulgence have consistently resulted in the decline and the destruction of families, nations, and great empires. All of the resources necessary to establish the foundations of a truly humane, scientific society are presently available to us. The result would be an almost immediate explosion in productivity and a quality of life for all people that would far exceed even the most optimistic predictions of our founding fathers and could pave the way for a world at peace. Colleagues, the eyes of the world are on Gallaudet University. The naysayers are watching for us to falter in the divisive self-indulgence which has frustrated most initially successful revolutions. And they are poised to use the example of our failure to maintain the status quo. We must not, and we will not, let that happen. We cannot fail the tens of millions of our oppressed colleagues throughout the world in this and in future generations whose potential will be judged by what we do now. I call on all members of the disability community to unite in action to support President Jordan and the students, faculty, and staff of Gallaudet University in their historic efforts to establish a community of excellence for the future. And to you of Gallaudet, I say, lead on. Lead us to the promised land of equal access to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all people. Lead us into an age of science founded on reverence and love for life. All of us. We love you. We believe in you. We are with you all the way. Together, we shall overcome. Thank you.